guys, Ash here coming at you today in Raid Shadow Legends. Welcome to the video, guys. How you doing? What do you think about this new boss, guys? What do you think about Al-Naemeh?
Al-Naemeh.
Pretty interesting champion, right? It actually, the fact that you can put this champion, that you need to put this champion to sleep, makes sleep champions, a lot of champions we haven't spoken about here on the channel in a long time. It makes them suddenly viable again, guys. I'm excited to talk about some champions that I think values will absolutely skyrocket. You might want to start investing in these champions right now. Maybe you have some of the epics or even some of the legendaries in the vault. However, some of the legendaries we're going to talk to are pretty good in their own right. I think that three types of champions specifically, actually probably more than that, right, are going to be extra viable. Obviously, sleep champions. I think Revive on Death is going to be really good for this dungeon, and also healers, right? So champions that have multiple of those abilities, I think they're going to be money. We're not going to talk a lot about Revive on Deathers in this video, but I do want to shout out, you actually saw her in that kind of the Raid Shadow Legends official video, but I love Skytouch Shaman. She's a great healer. She brings Revive on Death as well. A couple legendary Revive on Deathers are obviously, where am I going? Sacred Order, Ash. Cardio, I mean, like, dude, if you're lucky enough to have Cardio, like, you already know he's good, right? Another one of my personal favorites is Mother Cybele, right? She has a good Revive on Death and increased defense ability, but I want to really focus on the Poisoners because, again, for me, that's what I'm kind of most excited about here, guys. Champions that we haven't used in a while and some that we have. I want to go ahead and start out with just a couple rare options for you guys because let's face it, even though they call this kind of an end game feature, I don't see why newer players, brand new players, intermediate players, people who've been playing for a month or two or whatever, wouldn't want to take advantage of this dungeon, even if they can't get super far in it, just to upgrade their artifacts, right? So, gonna talk about a couple of the obvious ones, and first off, one of my personal favorites, and she's a demon spawn, not a dark elf, and it's Diabola. She's campaign farmable, guys, right in stage 12 of the campaign. She has a sleep on her A1, granted only a 20% chance of landing, but still she's bringing increased speed and an AoE attack. Not that it really matters that much on the AoE, but increased speed is really nice to have as well, and increased turn meter, decreased turn meter. So a really good control champion with a small sleep on the A1. I am a fan of Diabolist just in general. I think she's worth investing in, especially if you're lacking some of the other more powerful champions that we talk about in today's video. So the next one I want to talk about, guys, is a champion who I think is going to be a monster. A champion who really just kind of sucked, I guess, for a while, right? Way back in the day, Zelata was pretty good in the game, right? But then he got power crept big time. Because you ask yourself, dude, why do I need a 40% sleep on an A1, a champion who has a shield and a continuous heal on all allies? Not a bad ability, but it is a 4-turn cooldown on the A2, and another sleep on the A3 on a 5-turn cooldown, right? Well, now we do. You know what I'm saying? We want a champion who can bring healing, shields, and sleep to the table, and he has a sleep on the A1, a sleep on the A3, good heals, a nice support champion with a lot of HP, decent amount of defense, pretty easy to keep alive. I think that Zelata is going to be sneaky good, guys, sneaky good. Let's talk about a champion who already is good and everybody knows about her, right? But how could Seer not be good against this boss, right? And by the way, in case you're unfamiliar with the new boss, probably should have mentioned this at the top of the video, even though we're doing good on time compared to my normal rants, or I should not rants, soliloquies at the beginning, monologues at the beginning of my videos, right? 10% damage reduction for each debuff he's under, right? But you can only put debuffs on him when he's under sleep. Then he gets a sleep counter, so where you can't wake him up like you normally can on other champions for a whole turn, okay? And when he's asleep, he takes away your max HP when he hits your ally. When he hits your champions, he's eating away at your max HP, and it's gonna hurt really hard. But when he's asleep, you restore that HP when you heal, okay? That's why healers are super important in this dungeon, okay? So anyway, back to Seer. I mean, Seer's just a very special champion. Enemy max HP, tons of freaking damage, and sleep. And buff removal. I mean, just a really good champion. She's placing that sleep after the damage, right? Increased by 5% for each buff removed. Inflicts less damage on bosses, but still a decent amount of damage. So I think that Seer is still going to be a great option. By the way, guys, I saw a few people in my comments talking about how good Tyrell's going to be for this new boss. Not going to work out, guys. Not going to work out. The target needs to have decrease attack debuff to place the sleep. So you might say to me, Ash, why not use a decrease attack before you put the sleep? Who cares, man? Because you can't put debuffs unless the boss is asleep. So you can't put the decrease attack. So Tyrell's going to be useless in that regard against the boss. So just be careful, right? But Fenisil right next door, man, he is a champion who we haven't talked about in so long. Another champion like Zelata that used to be all right. But now he might have his day in his time in the sun back again. Ladies and gentlemen, what do we have? 25, 35, 40, 50% chance sleep on the A1. Not bad. Increased defense and a big heal. We need the healers. Fenisil, all of a sudden, we see a value surge on this champion. Really, really cool champion now for the new boss in Fenisil. Big fan. All right, who do I have next on here? Do I have any other... Yes, I do have an epic. This could be the one I'm most excited for, guys. Cornelia. I always think of YST when I think of Cornelia because he's done so many freaking videos, so many amazing videos on this champion. Man, she's awesome. First of all, she's scary. She's scary. I don't know about you guys, but the whole porcelain doll thing going on, I don't know, man. But she's amazing. She's amazing. Attacks one enemy, has a 50% chance of increasing the cooldown of all the target skills by 2 turns at random. Okay. On the A2, Piece of the Deep, level 1. Why am I saying level 1? Have I ever said that? Piece of the Deep, level 1. We have a 100% chance of placing a sleep debuff on all enemies for 1 turn. Now, the passive effect is whenever an enemy loses sleep, we'll place a fear on them. Great for the arena, of course, but the sleep on the 3-turn cooldown is really, really great. Now, Revitalizing Rest. This is a great ability on a 2-turn cooldown. Place a sleep debuff on an ally. You can also place it on her, too, for 1 turn. Heals that ally by 50% of the max HP and fills their turn meter by 50% whenever the sleep debuff expires or gets removed. Heals that ally by 100% and completely fills their turn meter if the sleep debuff is lost due to taking damage from an enemy. This ability is insane, especially for this boss. There's going to be a lot of Cornelia action out there, ladies and gentlemen. She has speed in all battles by 18% as well. Boy, do I love Cornelia. Can you tell, guys? Can you tell? Now let's get into some legendaries. You guys know how much I love the champion that apparently I don't know what faction he's in. It's Shagor. Dude. He's quickly becoming one of my favorite champions inside the entire game. This dude is so underrated, right? At first glance, you're like, okay, he's got poisons everywhere. He's got decreased defense for 3 turns. For 3 turns on a 3-turn cooldown, right? He's like the opposite of Iron Brago. Instead of increase, we get decrease on all enemies. AoE attack, 3 turns. Poison for 4 turns. Counterattacking all over the place whenever an enemy takes damage from poison. This champion counters attacks. What is he doing when he counterattacks? Sleep. He's putting them to sleep. Dude, poisons are going to be great against this boss. Poisons with counterattacks all over. I mean, not even counterattacks, just attacking, right? Poisons plus extra attacks every single time, plus decreased defense, plus sleep. I mean, this dude's gonna be a monster. He's also healing himself, restoring his HP. I mean, come on, dude. Come on. I really think this dude's going to be an absolute boss, man. When hitting enemies under, I was looking for his heal. I'm like, where is his heal? On the passive. And whenever hitting enemies under poison, the heals champ by 10% of this damage inflicted is going to help restore his max HP. Do not sleep on Shagor. I'm sure if you own this dude, you already know he's good. You're already going to be using him, right? Now, the other super obvious one, guys, I mean, it goes without saying. I mean, everybody already knows this. Sify the Lost Bride, man. I mean, if you have Sify, congratulations. You have a cheat code. You have a hack on this new boss. She got to sleep on the A1 100%, equal to or below 50% on the turn meter. Can't be resisted. Okay, and a heal there too. Increased defense, increased speed, block debuffs, great reviver, great heals all over the place on the passive. I mean, come on, man. The Sify the Lost Bride. We all know how good she is. These are actually some of the best legendaries already. Unlike the rares and especially the epics, we're not seeing as many like really crappy legendaries now get a ton of love from this boss yet, and that is the functional word. I played against the boss on the test server briefly, very briefly, but no one out there, none of the really brilliant minds have gotten their hands in the raid community on this boss and dissected. I'm sure there's going to be plenty of other epic and legendary and rare champions, who knows, maybe even some uncommon champions that actually are serviceable or really sneaky good against this boss. You guys, my intelligent viewers, might have some ideas. Let me know in the comments below. But Prince Kymar, of course, man, he's got the remove all buffs, place a sleep debuff for 1 turn on a 3-turn cooldown, seal of magic, reset all your abilities, got poison on the A1. Yes, please. Yes, please. Obvious choice, right? I got 2 more legendaries for you guys. Any guesses? I mean, come on, dude. Gaius the Gleeful is so freaking good everywhere, man. This dude is a beast. Congratulations if you went for Gaius the Gleeful for that fusion. I didn't, but I was lucky enough to pull him, and boy, is he a monster. An AoE with the sleep, 100% putting bombs after 2 turns on a 3-turn cooldown, and then he attacks. First hit instantly detonates bombs. Second hit, ignore it, unkillable. Okay. When attacked, has a chance of placing a bomb from the attacker that detonates after 2 turns. Instantly detonates all bomb debuffs on all enemies whenever this champion is killed. Man, oh man, oh man. Very, very good champion in the arena, basically everywhere. Gaius the Gleeful is just one of my favorites out there. And then last but certainly not least, a champion that I do not have, but boy, do I want. Knock the Paralyzer, ladies and gentlemen, on the A1, decrease accuracy. On the A2, an AoE, sleep, and 2 poisons, right? 3-turn cooldown. Places 2 additional poisons for 2 turns whenever a sleep debuff placed by this skill is removed or disappears after an enemy takes damage. I'll tell you what, Shagur and Noct are 2 of my absolute favorite legendaries in the game, and they both seem to just be made for this boss, especially Noct, who's brand new. Ally Protect, continuous heals. So we got heals, guys, and we have more heals on the passive. Heals the champion at 3% of their max HP, and all allies except this champion by 1% of this champion's max HP every time a poison debuff ticks on an enemy. Whenever an ally is attacked by an Ally Protect buff, has a 40% chance of placing sleep debuff on the attacker for 1 turn. What? Dude, this champion is, I think that Knock the Paralyzer is the best champ. I'm going so far on a limb here, right? I think this is going to be the best champion against Al-Naemeh in the game. Guys, those are my top 10 value surge champions in the game for this new dungeon, for this new boss. You guys let me know. Who did I forget? Who do you agree with? Who do you disagree with? I must be sleeping on somebody. See what I did there? Sleeping on somebody. Anyway, dad jokes at the end of the video. I love you guys. Have a great weekend. Have a great day. See you tomorrow's video. And as always, take care, guys.